All right, all right. Let's see. Get the ad reads in. All right, we'll give it a minute. Give it a minute, see if we can get into the chat. Let's see. All right, I'm cool with that. All right. Let's get to a minute. How about we? Let's see. All right. I know it's a little late, so I won't wait too long. I don't expect a crazy amount of people to be able to join live, but as always, it will be posted on my channel afterwards, so that works for me. Let's see. Do I have? Let me pull up some. All right, that makes it a little bit lighter word. All right, folks. All right. Uh, what is it? February 18th. We're going live. It's 11:36 p.m. right now. Um, what can I say? I just drove 4 hours. I packed up my car this morning, drove 4 hours down to New Jersey, unpacked my car. As you can see, clean room behind me, unpack that. Here I am, still delivering content. 11:35, 11:36 p.m. at night. Guess that's redundant. But as always, we are brought to you by Sundog Multimedia. Sundog is an online communication and social media company. What started as a personal tool has since evolved into something much bigger, allowing users to communicate, research, and discover things that impact their lives and daily decisions. Sundog will collaborate with you to build and execute a modern yet nimble social media strategy by utilizing innovative and traditional media principles. Sundog is also a proud supporter of the Stop Soldier Suicide Foundation. You can follow them on Instagram at sundog underscore multimedia. That's Instagram at sundog underscore multimedia. Brains, brawn, and true professionalism. That's easy peasy moving and service. Muscle for hire, moving, assembly, errands, you name it, they will do it. Easy peasy is multi-service team. If you need something, just ask. All right. All right. We are here. Uh, I just wanted to get a reaction in. I think it was a pretty big trade that just went down. Some big pieces. It's the Cucks first trade, I believe. I was fooled on the last episode. I think I did clarify that at some point later on, but I did think that they had already made a trade, but that was actually the trade that Big Brain LLC made with the Zits, where they just exchanged fourth round picks. About 24 hours before they left the league. So bizarre behavior from them. But, we already talked about that on last week's episode. So no need to rehash things there. I just wanted to go over the trade a little bit. And I got to be honest, I got to shred the Cucks a little bit here. I think that this is sort of an early welcome to the league moment for them. It's kind of the Bowen special, right? Good for him. It could have been any of us that took advantage of them like this. But I will say I did call it the Bowen special. It does seem like it's 80, 90% of the time that we see one of these deals. It seems like he's somehow involved in it. But, that's an early bird gets the worm thing. That's no knock on him at all. So I hope that's not taken as offense by any party. But, the trade was Jacoby Myers in the 12th overall pick in this year's rookie draft for Terry McLaurin, Austin Eckler, and the reigning champ Alex Rory's 2026 fourth round pick. What is it called? Shaky Phil, whatever they call him. I just, I, I don't see it. I don't see it here. Like I said, I think that this is a total thrashing from Bowen's end. I think that he got a great deal here. Terry, he's going to be 30 to start next season. So this isn't exactly like a dynasty minded move. And that's fine. I mean, it's my understanding that the Cucks, they do think that they can play this year. They are a little bit on the older side. So I think that they see that as an opportunity to try and compete. And, I've called them in the past sort of an improved big brain, right? Because they're big brain with all the older guys and all the vets, but they do seem a little more set at quarterback, right? They added Brock Purdy to that side, and they also have their picks. So I think that they're big brain plus, which is an improvement from the exact roster that they took over, right? So that's fine. Terry finally got himself a real quarterback last year, and he, responded by posting a top 10 finish, best year of his career. Good for him. But Jacoby Myers, his finishing rank has improved in 4 straight seasons, I believe. Most recently he was wide receiver 24 in our league. So I understand that there is a gap, but he only averaged just under 2 points per game less than Terry last year. And I think it's fair to assume that he's getting an upgraded quarterback this year. I would bank on his play improving or at least staying the same. I think that there's some stability there. He's been, I believe, a top 30 wide receiver in scoring for the last 4 years. And like I said, that's improved every single season. And now he's going to have one of the best. He did play with Tom Brady, right? Was there crossover there? Or was his rookie year with Cam Newton? I can't remember. But regardless, this is going to be the best quarterback situation he's had in a few years, I think, at this point. So, while he's been improving every year, I think it's a safe bet to think that he's going to be the same or if not better next year. And, he's not going to be 29 until the middle of the season. So I just think that adding the 12th overall pick with him to get Terry McLaurin, I think that's just an insane, massive overpay for that upgrade. I understand that people view this as like a bit of a down year for the rookie draft, but I love Bowen getting into the first round here. I look at it this way, right? There's two quarterbacks that should go in the first round. I wouldn't be surprised if they both went to McMorrow just because he has so many picks. He should roll the dice on both, even if he really likes one and maybe isn't high on the other. To me, there are at least 6 legit running backs in this draft. And there could be more. I think that's the baseline. I think there are 6 guys that I personally would not want to miss out on if I had the opportunity. It could go down as an all-time class. It's already shaping up to be that just by looking at their prospect profiles, right? So that's 6 running backs. That's 2 quarterbacks. I think there's at least 3 wide receivers that are worth getting really excited about. And that could be 4 depending on Travis Hunter's designation, right? So that's just a minimum to me. And then, you include Tyler Warren into that. That's 12 picks right there. And if you think that those quarterbacks are a guarantee to go early and to McMorrow, like I said, that pushes the skill position guys further down the board and makes it more likely that you get one of them. So you're guaranteed to have any of those players that I just said with that 12th pick. And of course, you have the last pick at those 12, but I like all of those guys. And I think that if you take any of them and you plug them into that trade, and I don't care what the trade calculators say, right? Because we'll get to the rest of that trade in a second. But if you plug that in along with Jacoby Myers and what he's been for these last 4 years and what I think he can project to be for the next, 2, 3, 4 at least, and I think, maybe 2 in terms of, high end production, but, I think he can be a steady receiver, right? So when you include any of those 12 guys, I just think that that's a huge overpay. I just don't think that that's worth it. I think that it's better to sit on Jacoby Myers, have that wide receiver depth, and then if you want a wide receiver, you could have taken Luther, you could have taken Tet, you could have taken Egbuka, and if that doesn't work out, then what you have to settle for one of those running backs or, maybe Tyler Warren, which is, tight end, I'd say is probably a bigger position of need for them right now. But, all they got on top of that return was Austin Eckler, who is not even guaranteed to be on the Commanders next year, right? He's, there is an option in that contract. Washington can opt out of that. And that would leave him as a 30-year-old running back who is clearly in a steep physical decline, both just like how he plays on the field and in terms of injuries, right? He's missed at least 3 games in each of the last 2 seasons, and there's just a lot of uncertainty there. And he's not the lead back in that backfield either. And they also have a running back that can, or a quarterback that can run the ball at a pretty high level. So, on top of that, they got a 2026 4th round pick that's belongs to the reigning champ. So I think conservatively speaking, you can think that will be 4-8 at best. So look at it this way, right? We just added the 4th round this year. If you say it's the 8th pick in that round, that would be the 8th shot at the undrafted free agents in the rookie drafts in any of our last 4. That's just like a total dart throw. I don't think that there's really any value that you can assign to that. You have zero clue who that might be, right? With 112, like I just laid it out. I mean, that's just like a baseline of like who you could get. And if you like any of those other guys, like I said, I think there are other really good running backs in that draft beyond that 6, and same with receivers and, even tight end. But I'm just laying the baseline out there. That's 12 guys right there. You have an idea of who you're looking at, who you're going to get, as opposed to a total dart throw in the back half of the fourth round next year, I don't love that. So I just think that this is going to age poorly for the Cucks, and I think that that could look as bad as bad as soon as week one, depending on how the Zits play that draft pick. And like I said, if they really wanted receiver that bad and they wanted to get a little bit younger, because what they have Debo and Devontae Adams, and of course they have AJ Brown, so that's a great building block right there. So I understand if they wanted to add to it and get younger, but Terry doesn't exactly provide that for them. And I just think that they're buying high on him, and it's going to be tough for him to repeat that same season, because I feel like they're going to have to bring in another pass catcher. Zach Ertz is just so old. They did not have a legit wide receiver too, so I feel like there is going to be a little bit of pressure taken off of Terry there, and due to that. He might have, a little bit of less targets. He might not get all those touchdowns that he had this year. Because, of course, we're talking about a boom year for a guy that's 29. So, going into the season, we had a pretty good idea of what he is. How much of a late career surge is this going to be for him versus, maybe more of a pop due to his situation, his target share, and, a really hot rookie season. But I got to be transparent. I was trying to get 112 myself, right? So, I've been trying to get it for 2 weeks. I just couldn't get the Cox to answer my text if my life depended on it. So, it got to a point where I was leaning on Simcoe. I was saying, could you maybe lean on them a bit and, try and nudge them in this direction? Kind of like I did, when he was trading Drake May to Frank. I thought it was, you scratch your back, my back, I scratch yours, that type of thing. So he served as the middleman for like the whole discussion. And I still never heard from the Cox, even though they said they were going to, throw something together. And I laid out, what was on the table for them and everything. And I was told that they wanted George Kittle, and I was willing to play ball. I wanted 112 in return. I wasn't married to it. I was open to seeing other offers. But I said, 112 would get me to the table. And I think that that's a fair ask. I mean, I just felt like, going from Kittle to really most tight ends in this league, it's a massive downgrade. He just had the second best season of his career. He just finished as tight end one. It's his third straight top two finish in our league. And, while Terry will be 30 to start the season, Kittle's only going to be 31, and he has a birthday, in the middle of the season. So, he will be 32 at some point. But he just finished the season averaging 0.23 points per game less than Terry, too. So, what do I know? I mean, that's a tight end that is averaging the same weekly output as the receiver they just traded the 12th overall pick for. And they could have had Kittle, and honestly for less, because I wouldn't have even thought about asking for Jacoby Myers. I would have thought that was overstepping my boundary. I would have felt like I was trying to, take advantage of a new team. But, for the tight end one who finished top 10 at the position in 12 of his 15 games, and, top 5 in 9 of those 15, I just feel like, isn't that what they call a positional advantage? But in this league where wide receivers are a dime a dozen, and tight end is so thin, I guess I don't really, I guess they just don't really see the value in that. So, that's up to them. It's three people, and I'm glad that all three teams involved could get this done. But while Simcoe's intentions were pure, I just. And he was definitely looking out for his brother and his friends. He didn't want them to, get screwed or anything. But I think Bowen respectfully robbed them blind. But everybody goes through these growing pains in this league, right? I have my own gripes about how this trade came to be, and I'm entitled to that. But I do understand and respect that it's their team, and they're able to run it into the ground however they please. So I just would have appreciated some communication from the Cox, right? I just felt like I was being active and, sending them proposals from all different angles. You need running backs, I got those. You need receivers, I got those. Oh, you want a tight end? I have the best from last year, and I'd say maybe the best tight end of the last 3 years from a fantasy perspective, at least. But you know, that's it. I just been texting them for 2 weeks with virtually no response. So just to have them trade the asset I wanted right in my face while I was trying to get business done in the middle of a 4-hour drive from Massachusetts to New Jersey. But I guess there's no place for common decency when it comes to business. So I just wanted to get on and like I said, shred them a little bit. It's a welcome to the league moment. And as I've said, and we've talked about in the past, everybody goes through this, right? I mean, I traded Nico Collins for dirt, right? What do I know? So, yeah, I mean, we'll see how it plays out. Terry was a great receiver last year. I just think that, Jacoby, he's a, wide receiver 2, 3 in this league, and then throwing on a first round pick with what you could get with that pick. I would have thought it through a little deeper. Maybe I would have reached out to other teams and bounced it off of them and seen if I could have gotten a little bit better before I traded that pick away. But hey, it's their team. This is my show. I'm just giving my thoughts. So, I'd said on last week's episode, I didn't know when we'd be back. Here I am already a week later. So, maybe I'll stick to the live reactions, for this stuff and maybe not try to stick to too much of an episode schedule or, anything like that. And, it's a lot easier to just hop on live instead of booking a guest. And I think I'm, thousands of subscribers away from having the capability of having somebody on live with me. So I'm gonna have to work on that technology a little bit. We'll see, but we'll keep it coming. I mean, I'm trying to make some moves. I hope that other people are. We got free agency coming up in 3 weeks. The combine coming up real soon. So I'm excited. We're gonna have some action. So I'm sure I'll be back on soon enough for some more live streams. And then yeah, maybe we'll get some draft content going. That could be more of the episodic stuff. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you to our sponsors, Sundog Multimedia. Thank you to Easy Peasy Moving and Service. We will see you on our next stream.